What's up, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604, and welcome to my unofficial RaceRoom Racing Experience Buyer's Guide. So, as you guys know, I really love RaceRoom Racing Experience. I think it's a fantastic sim, but one of the criticisms that's leveled on it, and I can't disagree, is their price model, and their pricing in general is kind of a mess. So recently I uploaded a video, and one of the viewers went in the comments and said he was interested in buying an expansion track and just wondered, is it worth it to buy the track? And I said, hold on, let me give me a week or so with this, and I'll try and produce a race room on a budget kind of video saying how much do you want to spend and what's the best you can get for that. So, here it is. Now with RaceRoom, what you'll find is that it's very easy to overspend if you're just kind of piecemealing a single car or a single track at a time. As you know, when you boot up the game, it'll have a promo and say, you know, WTCC 2016, 2017, whatever it is, you know, the FRX17, something like that. And you might be interested in buying that, or a new track, you know, maybe like Falkenberg just got recently released. Well, that's a good way to overspend. And the other way is if you buy packs that you're not actually that interested in, you're going to have a bunch of unused content in your game. So I'm going to show you how to best avoid those pitfalls and get the most out of your money. So the first thing I want to say is the golden rule of this game is always buy your VRP from RaceRoomStore.com. There are two other options. The first of them is through the official RaceRoom.com store, and the other one is through the store link in the game. Do not use those. The one at the center of your screen, RaceRoomStore.com, is the way to go. What you're doing there, instead of spending currency, is your actual currency. You're spending what they call VRP. And VRP should be purchased through RaceRoomStore.com. They're an official partner and much, much cheaper. I don't work for them. The only thing I've ever bought from them is VRP. And quite frankly, I've had a couple issues with them. You're supposed to get an instant link when you buy VRP. There's been times where I haven't, and their customer service has been absolutely awesome. They crushed it. They sent me the VRP link right away. So that's the way to go. It takes an extra 3 minutes. You have to leave the game. You buy from RaceRoomStore.com and then apply a code to your game, and then you get your VRP, and it's the way to go. Do not use RaceRoom.com to buy it, and do not use the store link in the game. Trust me, it'll save you sometimes as much as half. So what you can buy through RaceRoomStore.com, as I said, is VRP bundles. So they range from 500 to 10,000 VRP, and current prices there in US dollars. 500 VRP is a little under $5, on up to 10,000 VRP for $65. So as you can see, it kind of goes up in price, and just gets more and more. There's more and more savings to be had the more you buy. So what we're going to do for this video is use these as the sort of tier systems to find out what you can get for that money. So in other words, if you spend 2,000 VRP, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of the game for only 2,000 VRP. So we'll get into sort of the levels and what's best to buy at each price. So for 500 VRP, or just under $5, we don't have a lot of options, but we can make a legitimate race game out of this using the DTM 2013 pack. So this is within the 500 VRP budget, and there's a lot of really cool free content included in this game when you initially download it for free, including some really great tracks. So the first thing I would supplement is the cars, because the cars are good but not great. So if you add a DTM pack, you can actually have DTM full-on races. These are high horsepower, great handling cars with amazing brakes, and you can add it for just $5. So there you go, you've got a $5 racing sim. Pretty incredible. For 1,100 VRP, or just under $10, so still at this incredible price point. Probably not breaking any new ground here, but the starter pack, the default starter pack for RaceRoom, is a really cool addition. There's just some cool cars here. The DTM cars in the lower left there beside it, the old school Mercedes from the early 90s, GTR3 car, the McLaren beside that. Top row, Audi TT Cup is a really cool car, great handling, great sounding. WTCC cars, there's a couple of old school racers in the lower right there, and probably a no-brainer at the $10 price point. And for 2000 VRP or $17, so still very cheap, we got a couple options here. The first thing, we got to decide between tracks. There's unfortunately you can't get both, but either or, the Paul Ricard circuit or the Shanghai circuit, both are legitimate race courses. Shanghai most notably being on the Formula One circuit. Plus the DTM 1992 pack. So these are classic race cars. I strongly advocate people try this out. They're really great sounding, really fun to drive race cars from the early 90s. Plus the ADAC GT Series 2014 cars that you see here. You've got McLaren, you got BMW, you got Audi. These are legitimate modern race cars. The ADAC series, if you're not familiar, is a European series, kind of the sister series to DTM. So really cool pack here, and that's all for 2000. If we step up to the 5000 VRP mark, so $35, so still relatively inexpensive. You can go one of two ways. One, the official Pro Pack. As you can see, there's a ton of cars, ton of tracks. This is somewhat track heavy. The amount of track content you get is really fantastic, and I can't beat it by piecemealing, but I can beat the cars. So as you can see, there's a ton of cars included, but you're only kind of dipping your toes in each series. And you may find that once you start on DTM or WTCC, for example, you want more cars. So allow me to introduce a counterpoint. So you can go with the American Track Pack, which is everything you see here, plus the WTCC 2016 full roster. So you get 4 tracks and 5 cars with a whole bunch of liveries, plus the DTM 1992 pack that I talked about before. These are classic race cars, great handling, great sounding. Plus the ADAC GT Masters 2015 series. So as you can see here, they've added, versus the 2014 that I showed you before, they've added Nissan, they've added Bentley, still got those 2 Chevrolets, Mercedes, BMW, Audi. It's just a really great pack. Plus the 3 tracks you see here, Spa, Nordschleife, and Brands Hatch. So we already talked about the American tracks. Well, we're adding 3 European tracks here, all of which are incredible, iconic tracks, right? Like, we all know Spa. Nordschleife stands, on its own, just an amazing track. And by the way, Nordschleife is their only laser scan track in RaceRoom, so I recommend adding that. Stepping up to 7500 VRP, so $50, so we're in the price range of most of the modern sims now. The DTM 1992 pack, you've heard me drone on about this already. It's a really cool addition. We can also add the WTCC 2017 pack. I did a review video of this recently. It's a really cool pack to add. The Volvo sounds incredible. The Citroen and the Honda are also just awesome to drive. So really cool pack to add on for sure for modern kind of lower horsepower racers. Plus the GTR3 pack, which is, as you can see, just contains a ton of content. That little paintbrush in the lower left of each car is how many liveries you get with it. So as you can see, there's almost no end to the GTR3 and livery combos you could make with this pack. Plus, most notably, the European track pack. So apologies, I had to kind of zoom in on this and zoom out, but there's so many iconic tracks here, including ones on the Formula One circuit, plus a bunch that I've talked about already. There's just so much great content here for the European track pack. And then we can also add one of 3 options. The first option is to add these 3 cars. The Radical SR9 Judd is P2 car. I've had a lot of fun with it. Sounds absolutely incredible. Plus the R18 P1 car. It's almost as fast as the open wheel cars in this game. And the BMW M1 Pro car is arguably the best sounding car in the best sounding sim game. So you can add those 3 cars, or we can go with the newly released Formula RaceRoom X17. It's a You know, obviously styled after the 2017 Formula One cars. High horsepower open wheel car, by far the fastest car in this game. Or third option, we can add the American track pack to supplement the European track pack we talked about before. So Indianapolis, Laguna Seca, Mid-Ohio, and Sonoma. A great little track pack if you're looking for more tracks to try your cars on. Finally, for 10,000 VRP, I'm going to flip the script here a little bit. So you can get the premium pack, which covers all the content in the game. But I don't recommend you buy it. And here's why. Because when you buy the premium pack, it kind of takes a timestamp and says, you have all the content available in this game right now. However, if they release something tomorrow, it's not included. So you need to cover yourself for future purchases, and what I recommend you do is only spend $7,500. So the $7,500 that I told you about in the previous tier, I recommend you spend that and pocket 2,500 VRP. Why? Because you may find, and remember I talked about off the top that you may end up with a bunch of content you don't use. The best way to avoid that is to pocket that 2,500 VRP, and if you find that you're really into the classic racers like the DTM 92 pack, you may want to add the Group 5 Classics. If you find you're more into the modern race cars like the GTR 3 series or the ADAC series, you can actually add, you know, DTM 2016 or something like that, or possibly prototype cars or something like that. Or if they release something cool down the road, you're going to want to have some VRP in hand to be able to purchase it on day one and not think about it. So that's what I recommend you do if you happen to have 10,000 VRP in your account. That's going to do it, guys. Just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the continued support on the channel. You guys are amazing. It's growing a little bit every day, and I'm loving it. I love this community, so thank you for being here with me.